The science adventure series developed by Chiyomaru Studio and Mages is one of my favorite franchises of all time. Each entry is grounded with down-to-earth adventure stories until some sort of science fiction concept weasels its way in, resulting in all sorts of fantastical and amazing stories. You know what they say, magic is just advanced science. I think I just heavily butchered Clarke's third rule of science fiction writing there, but someone has definitely said it like that before. For the longest time, only the science adventure games tied to Steins Gate had been officially localized, with the exception of Chaos Child. But that's now changing with the release of Robotics Nodes Elite in English, and I could not be more excited to be here. In the not so far distant future of 2019, look, this game was initially released in 2012, just roll with it. The world is surprisingly similar to how it is now, with mecha anime just being a bit more popular. Our story takes place on Tanagashima, an island that is part of the southernmost part of Japan, and home to the Central High School's Robot Research Club. Our lead, Kaito Yashio, is one of its just 2 members. He's a relatively antisocial young man who spends most of his time playing the fighting game Kill Ballad, which is based on the hit mecha anime Gunvaro. The other club member is his childhood friend and the club's president, Akiho Senomiya. The 2 were in some sort of incident when they were kids and have stuck fast ever since. Unfortunately, no one else has joined them since, and the club is going to be shut down if they don't get new members and complete some sort of activity. Through the power of serious hard work and a lot of panic, they do just that. And as the newly reformed Robot Research Club begin to work on projects that transcend new heights, the group find themselves embroiled in a mystery that concerns the fate of the world itself. Robotics Nodes Elite makes the most of a unique visual style, utilizing animated 3D character models over 2D portraits. However, this isn't the only visual style, as this title also uses well-crafted CGs, like most other visual novels, and animated sequences that cover harder to describe robot scenes or any event that needs just that little extra impact. With all the extra movement, Robotics Nodes Elite pushes towards a more immersive experience that other titles can't quite achieve. To double down on the immersive elements, the game introduces Kaito's phone droid. Throughout the narrative, he'll pull it out himself if he wants to play Kill Ballad, and you'll see a series of button prompts to press if you want to win. On the other hand, you can boot it up whenever he isn't busy to check Twipo, where you can check your friends' posts and respond to them. Additionally, there's IROU, an AR program that is used to look around. You can find geotags that give background info on buildings, character profiles, and you'll be tasked to actually go treasure hunting with it. When this happens, you use the map feature and hunt around yourself, sometimes running into other characters in optional scenes. The UI is very nice to look at, matching the style of the game perfectly. The way they implement the phone droid into the story gives players more ways to interact with the narrative, which works exceptionally well. Robotics Nodes Elite has probably one of my favorite casts in recent memory. It stands out as a visual novel, especially when you contrast the characters in previous entries. In this title, the main 5 are part of a club, and when it's all said and done, they all share the same goal. In many other titles, the lead will be best friends with the other characters, but the actual interactions between non-lead cast members are simply little to non-existent. In Robotics Nodes Elite, the group forms a very cohesive bond, helped by the player viewpoint not being confined to just Kaito. This allows you to witness the interactions between members without our leads, giving them a stronger sense of agency. Still, the story doesn't only give us a strong main cast, but the supporting cast members each play a substantial role during scenes that tie into the main cast's development and progression as characters. They really help make this island feel full and inhabited. It's a cast that at its core is extremely comfy and will leave you feeling a wide variety of emotions as they go through their twists and turns. The opening chapters are in fact some of the strongest ones in this franchise, setting up characters and beats in a relatable manner. It's impossible to talk about how good a science adventure game is without mentioning the absolutely killer soundtracks that show up in each entry. Takeshi Yabo never fails to disappoint with a new collection of fantastic songs to punctuate each moment of the story. We also need to bring up the bizarre ending scheme the game uses. Science adventure games are pretty notorious for this, as the requirements for different endings end up being a little weird. In Robotics Notes Elite, during the week beginning on August 23rd, you'll need to respond to your friends correctly on Twipo to unlock phases 6 through 8, the game's very fancy name for chapters. It calls these endings, but they occur chronologically, and once you've passed them, then you can continue phase 9 and onwards. It puzzles me as to why they're called endings, or why these requirements are necessary in the first place, as the story could have just continued without them. Knowing that you only need to focus on the responses from that date, August 23rd, will make progressing far easier though. I should also mention that the neat daily record system exists. This is essentially an auto quick save menu that automatically places a save point at the start of each calendar day. So if you ever want to double check some info or jump back to a particular day, well, there you can.
で、海少子。ヤシオカイトのことに決まってるでしょ、上皇。話の続き。
Robotics Notes Elite gives us a visual novel experience full of compelling characters, immersive systems, and excellent pacing that rivals the best the genre offers. It's both dramatic and impactful, and not afraid to have fun with its cast as it balances its story beats expertly. I'd want to make some sort of robot analogy about all these being called parts coming together to create a well-oiled machine, but I feel that structure would really undersell just how great Robotics Notes Elite is. This was a VN that lived up to its very high expectations I ended up imposing upon it, and I couldn't recommend it more. Noisy Pixel is giving Robotics Notes Elite a 9.5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Noisy Pixel is a group dedicated to bringing you guys the best news reviews, previews, and more. Please stick around, read the review on our site for possibly extra tidbits, or it might look exactly the same. I don't know. You can find out though. And if you haven't played the other science adventure games, that is something you should probably do. Because they're so good.